Hey everybody, this is the How to Tie Knots channel, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do the knots necessary to complete the climbing merit badge. So, the first two knots on the list are very similar. The first one is a figure 8 on a bite, and the second is the figure 8 follow through. And I mean, they're almost identical. You end up with a loop and you got your figure 8 knot. The only difference is the way that you tie them. So the first one we'll go over is the figure 8 on a bite. And the way you tie that is just almost the same as if you were to do it on the end of a rope, except you've got two strands that you're using instead. So you're going to make your loop and then bring your end around there, then tuck it back down through that original loop and pull it tight. And you of course want to make sure that you keep your ropes neat, make sure they aren't crossing over each other, like this one is. Make sure it's nice and neat, looks good. And that's how you tie a figure 8 on a bite. Very simple, just the same as just an ordinary figure 8 knot. Pretty easy. The other one, your figure 8 follow through, it's basically the same thing. The way that you'll tie this one instead is that you'll put in your figure 8 knot like you were just putting in a plain old figure 8 stop knot, and then you're going to take the end of your rope and feed it back up through your figure 8 that you just made. So you're going to take that, put it up through there, bring it around, down like that, and then I'm running out of a tail here to work with. Give myself a little bit more, and then you would take it back up through that. So you're just going to follow that knot back up around. It's pretty simple to do, and it really comes out identical to the figure 8 on a bite, except it's just tied a little bit differently. But I mean, as you can see, it's almost the exact, it is the exact same knot, just tied a little bit different. So that's how you do the figure 8 on a bite and the figure 8 follow through. Pretty easy knots to tie. The next one on the list is a water knot. And a water knot is actually not tied with rope, but with webbing or a strap. And to tie this, you're going to just put a simple overhand knot in one end of your webbing, one end of your strap, like this. And then, kind of like the figure 8 follow through, you're just going to take the other end and follow that knot you just made back around. So you're going to take that through there, follow that strap around like that, bring it around, and then tuck it through right that. So both of those straps are following the exact same pattern. And then you just pull that tight like so, and you have yourself a water knot. And you can see your ends there, and they just both follow each other around just like that. Pretty simple knot to tie. And there's the water knot. So the next one on the list is the double fisherman's. And the double fisherman's is a knot that you would use to connect two pieces of climbing rope together if you don't have one that's long enough. And although I mean it works well, it wouldn't be my first choice to connect a couple pieces of climbing rope together, because once you get weight applied to it, it kind of locks together and it can be really, really hard to untie. But that's one they chose to do, so I will demonstrate how to tie it. What it basically is, it's just double overhand knots. So your one side, you're going to wrap this around, wrap that around again, and then tuck that through, just like that. And you basically just tied a double overhand knot. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side. You'll wrap that around, bring it around again, and then tuck that end through there, which basically gives you a double overhand knot, but instead it is called a double fisherman's. And then those two pull against each other, and just like that, you've got your ropes hooked together. Now, like I said, when you get weight applied to that, these really lock together well, and it can be quite difficult to untie them, but at least you don't have to worry about it probably coming apart. Now, if you were using this for climbing, you would want to leave these tails longer, so that way there's no chance that they would pull through and come undone. But just to keep it a little bit nicer for the camera, kept them a little shorter, but you would definitely want those longer. Okay, and then the last knot on the list is a safety knot. Now, I'm assuming, because I never took the climbing merit badge, but I'm assuming from what they're saying about the safety knot that it's better known as a stopper knot. That's what I think they're going for there. And a stopper knot is something that you would use at the end of a rope that you're possibly rappelling down, so that way you don't rappel off the end of your rope. That way, whatever device you're using before you can come off the end, you'll hit that knot and you won't be able to go any farther. But it's generally called a stopper knot. So there's a few different ones that you can do. I believe that the most common one for climbing is the figure 8 knot, and that's just real simple like we did before. Just bring that around, pull that through like that, and you've got yourself a figure 8 stopper knot. Pretty easy. Another one that I probably wouldn't recommend using, but I mean just a basic overhand knot, but it does work as a stopper knot, so something can't slide off the end there. A little bit better one to use would be the double overhand knot, so that would just be twisting that around twice in there instead of just once, and then that's what you end up with instead. Better than the overhand. It's still quite simple to tie. And let's see what else. You could also do the Ashley stopper knot, and for that one you're going to make 2 loops like this, and then bring the 1 loop around through there, and then tighten it up a little bit. And as of right now, you just have a noose knot, and then stick your end through there, and then tighten up that noose right around your tail in there, and tighten it up. And what you end up with is a really wide stopper knot. This one's pretty good. And so yeah, this is what you end up with, just like this. and it works well as well. There are other various stopper knots that you can use, but I would say that these are probably some of the easier ones to do. So there you have it. Went over the figure 8 on a bite, figure 8 follow through, water knot, double fisherman's knot, also known as a grapevine knot, and what I think they're going for is a stopper knot, which they call a safety knot. So if you have any comments about what I did, any questions, etc., leave them below. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down and let me know why. That's always good to know so I can improve the videos. Subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.